After 8 long years, the king of explosive, high-octane blockbusters might be coming back to the Transformers series. Recent news indicate Michael Bay is developing a brand new Transformers film that he wants to direct, with a writer allegedly already attached. Now, this news signals a huge potential shift for the franchise that, let's be honest, has had a rocky few movies, but what does this mean for the future? Are we looking at a full-blown reboot, a continuation of the Bayverse, or something else entirely? Today, we're going to be diving into all of it, what's been reported, the wild casting rumors, and more. We have a lot to cover, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's dive in. Let's first get started with the biggest news, and that is Michael Bay is back. According to recent reports, he's developing a new Transformers movie. As of late 2025, they have confirmed that Bay isn't just involved, he was actually the one who approached Paramount to make a comeback, which for a lot of people, this is huge news. To put it simply, Michael Bay is the live-action Transformers franchise. He directed the first 5 movies, I believe, which together raked in a staggering $4.3 billion worldwide. So love his style or hate it, you just can't deny his ability to turn these movies into global phenomenons. Now, after the 5th Transformers film, The Last Night hit a franchise low at the box office and it got, slammed by critics. So Paramount pivoted. They gave us the soft reboot of Bumblebee in 2018, which was praised for, its heart. And then there was Transformers Rise of the Beast in 2023, which brought in the Maximals. But neither of those films nor the animated prequel Transformers 1, which I still think there needs to be a sequel for that movie, was able to manage to recapture the box office magic of Bay's peak. Let's be real here, the franchise was struggling without him, and it seems that both Michael Bay and Paramount know that. They just need to, see each other again. It's time to get the band back together. So what kind of movie is this going to be? Well, the project currently has a screenwriter who is allegedly Jordan Van Dina, known for the comedy The Binge, which that right there might sound like a strange choice, but insiders say that his pitch was, impressed by both Michael Bay and the studio. But I think the biggest question though is the timeline. Is this thing going to be a sequel to The Last Night, a hard reboot that wipes the slate clean, or a soft reboot that exists in the same universe as Bumblebee and The Rise of the Beasts? Well, right now it's really unclear. Paramount reportedly has several scripts in development, so Michael Bay's project is just one of the few on the table. However, while it's not officially confirmed that he will direct it, the reports state that he's developing the project with the intention to direct and will at minimum be a hands-on producer. But let's be real here. If Michael Bay is returning to Transformers, he has to be the one to direct it. It just would not make sense to have somebody else do it. Now, there's been some previous rumors that have stated that the studio faces a deadline to start the production by 2029 in order to keep the film rights, which kind of makes Bay's potential return a critical move here. It really is going to be a high stakes play to kind of bring back the director who started it all, that really, delivered the billion-dollar hits, and then maybe he stay on as an advisor for the future. Now, for years, one name has been whispered in the darkest corners of the Transformers universe, a threat that is so big that makes Megatron look like a low-level thug, and that name is Unicron, with all signs pointing to him being the villain that fans are desperate to see, with many even calling the next film Transformers 8 The Rise of Unicron. However, it is important to note that this title comes from popular fan-made trailers, and I think there's a fan film being made. So who is Unicron? Well, for those that are not really deep into the lore, Unicron isn't just a robot, he is a cosmic god, a literal planet eater who devours everything in his path, which if you guys remember Rise of the Beast, you know that Unicron was thwarted when Optimus Prime destroyed the transwarp key, which collapsed a portal that he was using to come to Earth. So we've seen Unicron on screen in recent memory, but he was also teased in the Michael Bay universe when his horns started emerging from Earth in The Last Night. So it seems that Michael Bay's original plan for the 6th movie was to make a Unicron the main villain, a huge finale that would have tied his whole saga together before the studio went in another direction. But now it looks like he might actually be able to get to finish that story. Putting Unicron at the center of the plot completely changes the scale of this universe. We're not just talking about saving a city, we're talking about saving the entire planet, maybe even the galaxy. An awakened Unicron would be a cosmic level threat, the kind of event that could force enemies like the Autobots and the Decepticons to fight side by side just to survive. I can just picture the kind of epic storytelling and just straight up aura cinema from Michael Bay that could truly reboot this franchise, raising the bar for action to a level that we've never seen before. Now here's where things get interesting. Insiders claim that Bay's pitch uses Unicron as the catalyst to reset the entire mythology for a new multi-film arc. So like he would not only end the current continuity, but he would also usher in something brand new. Now let's talk about the crossover that was years in the making, and that is the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover. If you guys remember, at the end of Transformers Rise of the Beasts, fans finally got the moment that they'd been waiting for when Noah Diaz was handed a business card for the G.I. Joes. The crossover seemed inevitable. Paramount was hyping it up at CinemaCon in 2024, targeting a 2025 or 2026 release date. But since then, things have gotten pretty complicated. The initial excitement has faded into a sea of what we will say uncertainty. And as of late 2025, there has really been no real updates on the live action movie's progress. The director of Rise of the Beast stepped back from the crossover, and corporate shakeups like the, Paramount Skydance merger and Hasbro's decision to stop co-financing its movies has kind of left the project in limbo. According to some insiders, they are now speculating that the live action crossover could be either seriously delayed or even quietly canceled. So the lack of news is telling, leading many to believe that it won't happen anytime soon, if at all. Which for me, this kind of is a mixed bag. In some ways, like, I really want to see the G.I. Joe live action crossover with Transformers. But on the other side, like, if we get Michael Bay to return and he like reboots the franchise or like does something else, like gives us a proper Transformers 8, then I'm fine with kicking the can down a few years to maybe set up something that is more of a definitive crossover in the Transformers Bayverse. Next up, with Michael Bay's potential return seeming imminent and the promise of a story that is as massive as Unicron, a lot of rumors have been spinning talking about who will be joining the fight, but the most persistent rumor is the returning of the original cast. Specifically, Shia LaBeouf as Sam Witwicky and Megan Fox as Michaela Baines. Like, seeing fan posters and trailers like reimagining their return, it just has me like really hyped about that possibility. They would also be tapping into that sweet nostalgia for the first original trilogy. Now, it is worth mentioning that take this with a grain of salt because these are just rumors. And there's a lot of history here. Shia LaBeouf once called these films irrelevant, and his character Sam was implied to have died off screen in The Last Night. Megan Fox was also famously critical of working with Michael Bay, though there's been a lot of time that's passed since then. So while bringing them back would be a huge draw, similar to what we've seen with, Spider-Man, with them bringing like the 3 Spider-Mans on screen, as of right now, it is just pure speculation. What we do know is that Paramount and Bay are reportedly, looking to create an endgame style event, which tells me that a huge story that could blend old characters and new characters, whether that means we'll see Sam Witwicky and Michaela fighting alongside Noah Diaz from the Rise of the Beast, is, anyone's guess. It is an exciting thought that would both honor the franchise's legacy while also pushing it forward. For now, though, we do know that a script is currently being developed by Jordan Van Dina, and as we get closer to production, we'll be watching for any official casting news. Now, I do want to make this point is, as much as I do think, seeing Sam Witwicky return and Michaela, like, I would be fine with something completely new, with a full reboot that, maybe tells the story of Sam Witwicky again, but this time, completely different. But again, it's hard saying what they plan to do. So where does that leave us? Well, 3 things seem to be pretty clear about the future of Transformers. First and foremost, Michael Bay is back in the mix, developing a new film that he wants to direct, which means we could get a return to the explosive action that made the franchise a global giant. Second, the planet-eating, Unicron is the fan favorite villain to take the center stage. One thing is for certain, we are on the verge of a huge new chapter for the Transformers saga. It's an exciting time with multiple projects in the work, with the clear desire to bring the franchise back to life. But that's where I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys want to see the most in the next Transformers movie? Are you excited about the idea of Michael Bay returning with his signature Bayham? And as always, if you enjoyed this breakdown, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys on the other side of the world.